China is the workshop of the world. How do investors access that story? China is often said to be uninvestable, but is that really true? I spoke with the managing partners of Dewu Finance, Ian Lee and Boran Ding, about how they are using their venture capital arm to create opportunities for foreign investors to invest straight into SMEs and supply chain companies in China. We spoke about the differences between the US and China when it comes to SaaS and AI, and how digitization and tokenization is now opening up new opportunities for global investors to get access to this story. I've also got a link below to a story I wrote about what Dewu and Evident are doing in terms of tokenizing these flows so you can learn more. And there's plenty more available at the website at the JDB report. I'm James DiBiasio. Boran Ding and Ian Lee of Dewu Capital, welcome to the JDB report.
Hi. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I'm happy to have you guys on the program. I wrote a little while ago when you announced your tokenization of Chinese supply chain financing into Hong Kong. I wrote about that on the JDB report, and I'm sure I'll have a link to it on this video. And so it pleases me to welcome the two managing partners of Dewu Finance to understand kind of where tokenization is going, where supply chain finance is going, and sort of your model of VC plus fintech plus data and supply chain in China. I think it's a very interesting model that you guys are building, and I think people would like to know more.
So, in fact, the fintech in China used to leading the world in the past maybe 10 years. But in 2020, after the speech of Jack Ma in Shanghai, and I think it's just a turning point. The regulation in finance become
A little more strict.
Restrict, yes, maybe restrict. So we try to make something new.
Okay, so basically, I think we just want to be more innovative in this fintech regulation restrictions. So we built the Dewu Capital VCs first. Of course, we have invested in QQT, the largest supply chain SaaS software, and also we have invested in Flyway, the international finance service platform. So on top of that, we think the digitalization of this system, the industry has been coming to this stage. So that's why we have the idea of this project.
Right. Okay. So essentially, the Alipay, Alibaba style internet e-commerce, payments, fintech, and also there was the big crackdown on P2P lending before that. So basically, you saw that those avenues were no longer viable, but there was a big opportunity in supply chain and enterprise SaaS and turning that into something that could be investable. Is that right?
Exactly. Given China has the basically manufacturing capacity 30% of the world.
Yeah.
So a lot of things happening in China. China is the basically manufacturer center of the world.
Right.
And so there are so many things going on here. But while the financing needs for the industry has been huge, and the banking and also the traditional finance sectors cannot supply and satisfy the needs. So that's why we see the need in the market. But in the same time, also we see the US dollars interest rate are going down, and the US assets, American assets are sort of overvalued. And while we think the Chinese assets are some sort of undervalued, and we see the trend of the currency, RMB versus US dollars, RMB is going to go up in the exchange rate side. So we see the combination of these factors in the opportunity.
So we talked about the opportunity, this structural difference between what investors globally can get in U.S. Treasuries, 3 to 4%, depending versus, I guess you're looking up to double digits in China trade assets, right? 8 to
Hmm.
10%. So when you are underwriting these receivables, what are the risks that will matter? I mean, there's these sort of the headline stuff around macro and currency exchange rates, but basically yield in the U.S. Treasuries 4%, your portfolio, let's say, 8 plus. What are the risks then that investors will have to think about?
Well, we have to be honest. There certainly are several types of risk that exist in any investment. First, this is a cross-border transaction, so we get the foreign currency into China, so through the QFLP, convert into it, and then when we do the distribution, that would be the RMB convert into US dollars. Of course, according to the current regulation, that's all okay, no problem. But maybe at a certain point of time, the regulation change. So then that would be, we will face the currency conversion risk, although we believe that's minimal, but that's still the risk. I think that first. And secondly, would be say, of course, we always believe because Chinese economy has been a little bit downturn in the past few years, is going to turn around already, or it will wait for a few years. We don't know.
Right.
But certainly economic trend of China is also an issue. Although we believe it's going already at the bottom, but we can't tell where
Right.
we don't have the crystal ball.
Right.
So that's probably second type of risk. And probably third risk would be think is, okay, we believe all things are available. We have the QQT, we have the different things, everything in place. We have all the data, but we are human beings. We may make mistake in the process, and the default rate go up higher than what we believe.
Okay. All right. So the credit risk of the underlying can change, and that is tied to the macro situation in the Chinese economy. Exports are very strong, but obviously a lot of problems still in real estate, consumer, etc.
Exactly.
So,
Mm.
Boran, is there a
Mhm.
risk that for foreign investors who want to access the supply chain financing
Mhm.
through the regulatory channel QFLP, right, for qualified foreign limited partners? That's the way they reach, you've got a quota or something, they can reach you. Is there also
Um,
any regulatory risk that sometimes SAFE or the PBOC might um, limit the amount that can go out of China through QFLP? So you might be expecting a distribution and you can only send so much through that channel.
uh, at present, there is no restriction of the QFLP. The capital flow in and out is fluent.
It's fluid,
So
right? Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So uh, um, as you know that we want to get the money back every half year,
Mhm.
with the interest paid.
Right.
Okay. Uh, so we we try to communicate with the regulator and the government in the QFLP province, and at present we found no restriction.
Okay. Great.
Mhm.
I probably can add a point here.
Hmm.
Say, I think the risks are minimal
Hmm.
because also given the size of our, current structure. So the initial funding we're looking for is 15 million US, and we go up to 200 million. So
Right.
this size is still small,
So small.
and I have a real case here. I have a billionaire classmate, university classmate, who's an Australian citizen, but he's the boss of a listed company in China. I understand he's basically selling his shares from time to time worth 100 million RMB. He convert into US dollars freely.
Right.
As far as I know, even recent last month.
Okay. So this is not at this point an issue. Um, I'd like to understand the way you look at SaaS, software as a service businesses. In Silicon Valley, we're seeing a lot of strain on SaaS finances with the rise of AI. So there was a big headline last week, I think, where Anthropic's latest model is just so powerful that a lot of these SaaS companies are feeling the pressure that this LLM can kind of replicate a lot of their business at a very low cost. So you guys are very familiar with the SaaS sector in China. Um, how do you get a SaaS company, or when you look at a SaaS company, how do you determine if that has sustainability and if it can do more than just provide software, but then become part of some sort of financial flow? How do you think about that?
Uh, as you know that the price of the stock of SaaS in the Nasdaq decline these days because of the impact of AI. I think in the future, all the SaaS company will become an AI company in the future because they have the data, in fact. But the um, the organization of the SaaS company will increase, will change a lot in the future. And in fact, compared to the software, the financial requirements are much more intense compared to the software in China.
Mhm.
So with the fintech and the combination of fintech and the SaaS is a choice, is a better choice for those SaaS company in the future, in our point of view.
Right. And that's a big part of your thesis, right, for Daewoo is
Yeah.
combining these two. What do you look so in the Chinese landscape, are there a lot of SaaS companies that are ripe and what size level are they? Is this going to be a VC type story, or do you see it as more of like a restructuring private equity kind of activity?
The SaaS company in China is completely different compared to the US.
Okay.
Because the software company, the organization and the product of software company in China is completely different.
And
And
when you
also the
look,
two markets are quite
yeah.
different. We're not going to get into more detail about the difference in the software and SaaS, but the US companies, the software SaaS, they charge much higher rates. In China, their customers, tend less to pay.
Mhm.
So that's why the Chinese software or SaaS companies, they are more innovative because they need find more to do things. So I think I will tell that's one of the
Yeah.
major difference.
And when you're looking at that innovation, can you give me some sense of, as you know, you guys are on the when you're wearing your venture capital hat and you're looking at these companies, what are the kinds of things that you look for that tells you that this is a company that's going to be able to continue to innovate, be successful, survive, and make money?
Okay. I think although I were where did we go off track, but if you talk about our investment theory in the source software or SaaS companies, basically we're looking at first their tech technology requirements.
Mhm.
So the market demand for this type of software, some software are very, very on high demand. Some software, and also because of the geopolitical reasons. For example, some international ban on the Chinese company usage. So there's a need there, and we call it Chinese replacement of Western counterpart. That's one big part of that. Second part would be we will see their role in the domestic economy, like for example, QQT, they are basically everywhere in the different industries. They have many type of customers. They already over 5 trillion RMB in terms of supply chain finance flow. So we will see where they are in the sector. Of course, most importantly, we also want to see the caliber of the founders, whether the founders are, good, resilience, hardworking, and reliable.
Yeah. Okay. And what about, tell me,
And
yeah, Boran. Yeah.
I will add something. Actually, our current focus is on AI. We require the software company that we invested uh, in move to into AI direction at present. So I think the whole software industry will be changed and maybe revolution by AI. So our focus is on AI at present.
How big do you need to be to invest in AI opportunities? Again, if I look at the US example, it's now, gargantuan, huge amounts of money. So it's hard for small VCs to get on the cap table for some of these. In China, maybe it's different. What are the kinds of stories in China that are about AI that work for you as a venture capital sized investor?
Uh,
Well, I think the two markets are quite different.
Hmm.
So as you rightly mentioned, so the AI in US are hot. Probably in our views are over hot,
Hmm.
and there are some kind of sense of AI bubbles.
Hmm.
Recently, if you see the drop in market cap in like Nvidia, like number of other big AI companies, and also we believe the valuation of open AI is just too much.
Hmm.
So in China here is quite different because we don't have that kind of overvaluation in the situation. Also here it's more by the big platform plus some innovative companies. For small VC like us, we can still look into many niche markets.
Hmm.
And also remember, China has a manufacture capacity 30% of the world. A lot of things, real case in AI application are happening in China, not in the US.
Right. In and around manufacturing,
yeah, and
organized.
we focus that I will add something. In fact, we focus on the AI application, but not the infrastructure.
Mm.
The investment amount in AI infrastructure has been very huge,
Right.
but in AI application, it's just at the very beginning in China, in fact.
And when you look at the opportunity set, how much of a role does the fintech or finance side play versus just uh, SaaS or AI just for purely uh, manufacturing or production purposes? And do you see the opportunity in the fintech or finance sector growing?
Because of the regulation at present. So um, the traditional maybe the traditional fintech, just like the 2C consumer lendings,
Mm.
they are uh, they are just not growing very
Right.
fast at present. But to SME, it's completely a blue ocean at present.
For foreign investors that are interested in this, obviously one way is through this tokenization scheme. How did the idea of, as you're digitizing, how did the idea of tokenizing these receipts come to you? How did you meet Evident? Like, how did it grow out from you doing this sort of domestic business into an opportunity to package this for foreigners?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. As you know that we invest in Flyway, and Flyway is a cross-border payment company, and they are trying to get a stablecoin license in Hong Kong in 2024.
Okay.
So at that time, um, we try to discuss with the CEO of Flyway and talking about the tokenization opportunity. And the supply chain finance is really a huge market in China, and it's still uh, is still blue ocean
Hmm.
in blue ocean
Yeah.
status. So uh, we think that it's a really an innovation idea to combine the tokenization and the supply chain in China at present, and because of the digitalization, um, it's just the best time here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you then connect with Evident?
Well, we have
Um,
talked with a number of potential partners,
Hmm.
including Evident,
Hmm.
and we found they are very practical, and they also have a combination of as an investment bank plus tokenization experience. And so it's just kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
So we feel Evident would be the right partner.
Okay. Great.
yeah.
What are your goals for this tokenization? Do you have a certain amount that you want to place, a certain amount that you want to raise? And also, how do you judge if it's, going to be sufficiently liquid, or how do you make sure that, it develops a market around this? Just how are you thinking about, taking this project forward in this coming year?
Yeah, the project, the initial aim of the first closing would be something like $15 million. We already secure about half of that size
Mhm.
already. And also, we complete all the structure in China, domestic structure already in place. In fact, we have convinced one investor, which we know for a long time, they already channel some money from Hong Kong, from Evident to China. We already flow the system,
Yeah.
and we already basically already distribute a loan to a real customer to see the whole process. So that's proof already working, and also system are working. So once the first closing are done, I think they basically we're going to fly.
Yeah. Okay, great. And what are your goals going forward? As you get this going, this token project, will you be producing more tranches of this or different types, or do you see other innovative ways to connect finance and supply chain?
We would like to raise more money after we first closing because with the existing platform in Flyway and QQT, the size already very huge.
Mm.
Our the amount we're going to raise in first closing, that's just drop in the ocean.
Mm.
It's just kind of supply all the needs, but in the same time, we have already explored with other more partners. For example, human resource.
Mhm.
Uh, there are many other scenarios we can tap into the supply chain finance. They are huge, and also not only our portfolios. There are other top players in the industry we can also integrate into the future. So we have more scenario to do the supply chain finance. So in the same times, of course, we want to increase the size of our investment so we can satisfy also support this SME growth in China.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me give you two figures. One is the accounts receivable at A-shell listed company. It's 9.4 trillion RMB.
Mm.
The whole A-shell listed company, and the total account receivables across China is 28.4 trillion RMB. So it's really huge.
Yeah. Yeah, big market. What are one
Yeah.
or two, let's close. Thanks for your time, gents. What will be one or two things that global investors may not understand about this asset class or this opportunity or just investing in China now, through this sort of digital channel? What are, when you have your conversations, what are some of the misconceptions that still exist that you can address?
Well, let me simplify our offering here. So we are a private credit with tokenization feature and with smaller duration, and they can redeem with after 1 year.
Mm.
So that's our offering.
Right. Okay.
And I will add something. We also discussing with VATPs in Hong Kong, and we try to open the secondary market in the future in the VATPs. So that will increase the liquidity of the token in the future.
Right. These are the virtual asset service providers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, Ian and Boran, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the JDB report. I believe, Ian, you're based in Shanghai, and Boran, you're in Beijing. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you guys?
Well, I think they are welcome to contact us through our, emails and also through our official WhatsApp account.
Yeah, we have a website.
And also, they are also welcome to contact Evident as well,
Okay.
our partner in Hong Kong.
All right.
So our website is Dewu Finance. It's our website. You can see the whole picture of our project.
Okay, great. Okay, well, look, thank you so much for taking some time to join me on the JDB report, and good luck with helping bring opportunities in Chinese SME financing to the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.